Welcome to the Ella Opa Travel Podcast, hosted by Melissa Fundas, Fotios Stamos, and Ari Kalos. Learning all the finer details of traveling to Greece is a true art form, and we are here to share our knowledge with all of you. Let's begin our journey.
Welcome to another episode of the Ella Opa Travel Podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Fundas, and I'm here with my favorite Boston Greeks, Ari and Foti. Good to have you guys back here with me. How are you?
I'm doing well, and it's always a pleasure to be on this podcast. It's, I think, one of the most fun, exciting podcasts because we also love to travel.
And we love to learn, which is what I've been realizing lately, that I don't really know. I've been to Greece.
Ari, I have to tell you, I was at my parents' house this weekend, and my mom has been listening to the podcast, and she's like, it's so nice. What's his name? Ari? He just keeps learning from you. And I said, Mom, thanks for noticing. We're all really proud of him.
Well, for somebody who has spent a lot of time in Greece, I don't expect to learn much. That's why I'm on the podcast, to be somebody who kind of shares knowledge, but I'm learning and I love it.
And I think, we talked before this. We all unanimously decided that we want to talk about food today. And I think that today there's something that we all can learn from each other. Like, we've all had different experiences. We've all been different places in Greece. We've had amazing, we've had questionable. And I have my pen ready to go. I want to hear what you guys got. So, cause and this doesn't matter. You could go to Greece. You could have been to Greece 100 times before, or you could never go. Everybody has an interest in Greek food. When they think of Greece, they think, I want to have good food.
Yes.
And I think
food in pretty places. It's really simple.
Traveling to Greece, is a big chunk of that is food. I mean, at least for me, I when I think of Greece, I think of traveling, seeing beautiful things, beach, sun, food. I mean, food is definitely in there. I don't think I've ever thought of Greece without food.
For me, it's drinking, so.
What difference does that make here, there, or anywhere?
Right. But as a traveler, I think we definitely have expectations, from what we're used to. And it's not just flavors, quality, creativity, but I think it's also the experience. And some of our expectations going into it is, for the most part, we're in a chill mood. We're on vacation, we're going to have fun, but there's still that inkling of expectations. And I think that's where most of our, I should say safely, our bad experiences might come from.
I agree. It's unpredictable, which also makes it enjoyable. You don't want to actually know what's going to happen, the surprise. But there are some unfortunate surprises when it comes to food as well. And, I was thinking about this. I was I've had so many amazing meals that I was why, what made them so good? What did I even have? And I was trying to think of it, and it is this whole experience, it's where you're at. It's what you're tasting. It's, what other people that you're around. It's a full experience. It's not just the food.
That's very true. And if you want to visualize this, for those of you who can't kind of grasp it, imagine being in a blank cement room and eating with some person you hate. Now, imagine the same exact food on a cliffside in Santorini with the moonlight and the breeze and the excitement and the energy and the people and the view. I mean, what's going to taste better? Even though it's the exact same food, what is going to taste better? That's how humans work. I mean, it's a full package.
Energy and environment, for sure. But I think also hospitality, the word that we know of as good service, is possibly different in Greece. Etiquette is different in Greece when it comes to hospitality, whether it's a small taverna or a fine dining establishment. I think that's also something that we don't really think about. What we know as etiquette here versus etiquette there is a little different.
For sure.
And, I think we have some of these little annoyances that we, will speak of when we are dining out in Greece, whether it's on the caldera in Santorini or whether it's at at a rooftop by the Acropolis or on a beach, when, you're getting your lunch delivered to you, to your, sunbeds. But etiquette is also something maybe we should also discuss, because sometimes we're like, oh, those crazy Americans are here and they're so needy and, they just relax for a bit. Like I'll get their tab in like 10 minutes.
I know. And I think that that's a matter of setting realistic expectations before you go, like understanding that that server is not like, he is not working for a tip. He is there to take your order, get you your food, get you the ticket. Like that's
Right.
pretty much it. Like you see him about 3 times when they take your order, when they bring the food, and when they give you your ticket. And I tell
Right.
people, I'm like, if you are in a hurry, get your ticket right away because you don't want to sit there and be like, oh, I got to get to my ferry or I got to get to my flight or whatever it is and be waiting on a ticket because you can ask for it. And like you said, Foti, like it could take another 10 minutes, 15 minutes for it to come, like if they feel like it.
Right. And God forbid you interrupt a conversation to get your tab from a server. But these are the things I think we should definitely highlight in the reference of bad experiences that their etiquette, I'm sorry, sometimes will impact the way we feel.
Okay, let me ask you guys this. What has been, I mean, this is so hard because we've all spent a lot of time in Greece, but what is one meal that has stood out to you, all around, like, this is amazing? What's one meal? Like, where were you? Who were you with? What were you eating? Like, as much as you can remember.
If I can start and then you guys can jump in, because my recent experience, which was this past summer, for me, the best experience recently has been whole, fresh, grilled fish in a taverna on the beach in Kalimnos, where I've had plenty of whole fish from Greece, plenty of fresh fish, but there was just something about that day, that moment, that evening I still think about it all the time.
Love was in the air that
Yeah.
night.
It was
Sing it.
the reservation was like right at sunset. The weather was perfect. There was just the right energy, as Ari was mentioning. But whole fresh fish with that beautiful lemon olive oil dressing that gets drizzled all over the fish. Despite that, there was plenty of bones that I had to get through.
Hmm?
It still tasted amazing.
I feel like you just went somewhere. Can you come back to us?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell that like you remember it so clearly. Question, and this is going off on a tangent. Do you guys make reservations? I rarely make reservations.
Yes and no. Where my wife is from in Monevasia, we're in a village called Ios Ioannis, and it's all tavernas, so you don't need a reservation, just first come, first serve. But at some of these other locations, like in Kalimos, which there are restaurants that are by the beach, they're always recommending reservations because limited space, tourist season. So yeah, this past year we found ourselves making quite a bit of reservations that I was not really, done that before.
I don't think
You
I've
know,
ever made a reservation in Greece, to be honest,
yeah,
because
and I learned,
me going to Greece, I'm not seeking what I can and normally do here. When I go to Greece, I'm seeking something different from my American life and experience, and I literally am all about the tavernas, all about the small little unknown places, the mom and pop shops. I'm all about that stuff. I have friends and family who talk about like hot spots and you got to try this and these are, it's a month
so
long waiting list. And I'm
we're,
not
we're
about that.
gonna we're gonna drop Ari off at the Euro shop, and then we'll go for dinner at a
Well,
restaurant.
that's the thing. That's why I go to Greece. I want so my I'll give you the quick good experience. We were traveling a long distance. I don't remember exactly where we were going, but it was a long car ride, long distance. It was hot, whatever, and it looked like we were in desolation. Like there's no like civilization anywhere, and I was just miserable. I was like, "Where are we going? When are we going to get there? I'm so hungry." This and that, and we came over like a ridge. And on the side of the road was this like classic looking taverna. And there's nothing else around except this taverna. And it's packed with people. And the vibe was great, whatever. And we got out, we sat down, we ate. It was just, I think it was because of my expectation that I wasn't going to have a good meal that day, or it was going to take forever, and I wasn't expecting anything. And then this place showed up. It was like an oasis, this like mirage, and it was just a classic Greek taverna food. And we ate till we were going to burst, and it was dirt cheap, and it was just that was my great experience that I can remember. But one other thing I want to mention is I've always had this. I can never find the taste of Greece here. You know, I'll go to a million different Greek places. You just can't get that taste. And one of the funny stories that sticks out in my head is the local gyro shop, the local souvladzidiko was run by this old Greek dude. We loved it. I mean, the souvlakia we would get there were like no other. But I remember walking in the first day we landed, and it was the old guy with this sweaty, dirty T-shirt, sweat pouring down because he's over the grill. It's like 90 degrees out. A cigarette hanging out of his mouth with the ash like this much, hanging over the souvla. And in America, if I saw that, I would have ran the other way. There, I was like, this is the best souvlaki I've ever had, and I want this guy making it exactly as he's doing.
Right. The expectation is different for sure.
And maybe it's a cigarette ash and the sweat that gives it that taste. I don't know, but it's the best.
Yes, I can taste. It's called love. I think it's called the secret ingredient of love. But and it's funny that you say that about, you know, not being able to find like that same taste here in America. And you guys are in Boston. Like you have a huge Greek American population there. Like, and you know, like we had just gotten dinner to go from a Greek restaurant here in Omaha, and it's great. Like it's run, it's cooked, it's like heart and soul from Greek people, like first generation immigrants, but it's not the same. It's like they've had to water it down to be palatable to people here. But like it doesn't, like I don't think that even makes sense, because like what people want, like that real taste.
No, what you just said is 100% true. Because in my older days of being in the restaurant business, we would have this like kick-ass tzatziki, and we would have this kick-ass, all these Greek dishes that we literally had to like water down, mute the taste, because, you know, just the general American public was like, oh, this is too garlicky, or this is too spicy. We're like, what?
Yeah.
No
well,
way.
and I never understood why gyro meat here is different than gyro meat there. Like these are two totally different things. Like what we have in America is just like this mystery kind of meat. Whereas in Greece, it has like texture and flavor and the fat mixed in it. And like, it's real meat.
I think the process between getting it from the source to the table here is a little bit more convoluted and processed, where there it's a little more direct. And I think that may play a role.
It's gotten better over time. I think recently there's been a lot of great Euro concepts that are actually bringing the authenticity. To your point, Melissa, for the last 20 plus 30 years in the U.S. market, we've been subject to processed gyro meat versus in Greece, the main protein is pork on the spit. And that's becoming more and more available here, the way they're doing it in Greece, whether you're in New York, Boston, Chicago, Florida, I'm not sure, Nebraska, maybe.
No.
But I'm just saying, but still, like the spices and the herbs that are used in Greece obviously are going to taste a lot different than what we have here. The water source, we don't think about this, but you know, when recipes are being made in Greece and water is being applied, water also makes a big difference in the way things taste. Your salads. Do your Greek salads like choriatikis taste different there than they do here?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that,
and it's so sad. Like you try to do the best you can at home, but it's not the same. It's never the same.
Right. And I think there's something about the way that they pour their olive oil mix. It's not just straight olive oil. Some of them like add, whether it's a little bit of vinegar, a little bit of water in that mix, and it makes this like really.
And the vegetables, they're real. They're not, like grown in a factory warehouse. And, like the thing is like what's so good, I think, about Greek food is that, like here in the middle of January, it's like, if I want a strawberry, I go to the grocery store and I buy a strawberry. If I'm in Greece and I was like, I want a strawberry, they're like, we don't have strawberries. It's not strawberry season.
And that's such an important thing. Like the natural order of things is you eat stuff when it's in season, but we have such technology and processing abilities that we could have stuff at any point. And I don't think that's right. I think people should stick to things that are naturally in season and not out of season, even though convenience is a
Good
big
luck with
thing.
that.
Yeah, exactly. The convenience factor is way too great with Americans.
Yeah, I mean, there'd be a whole uproar. I mean, like, look at what happened with the egg crisis. We're all like crying about eggs, because we created that problem with, like millions of chickens in a factory. And all of a sudden we don't have eggs because they all have bird flu. Whereas, in Greece, like they have their chickens on the farm and, the local farmer takes that to the local market and there's the eggs. Like everything is fine. Like when we try to do these things on like this giant American scale, it backfires, and the food quality is it's not the same. It's just not. Like you said, it's really hard to recreate.
There's a famous saying that says, stick to what you know and outsource the rest. So, America is great at many, many things, and then outsource your eating to Greece. Go to Greece to eat.
Just go to Greece to eat.
For your enjoyable meal.
Can we get that subsidized?
Yeah, right? Gonna write it off.
That's it.
But what I was gonna say is I have had some unpleasant surprises, like things that actually Americans do better. And one of those things that stands out to me, I've made this mistake a couple times because the first time I was like, oh, this is just like this particular restaurant. Like this is a fluke. And then I did it again. I was like, oh God, it's the same everywhere. Caesar salad. Have you guys ever ordered a Caesar salad in Greece?
It's very different.
It's terrible.
Yeah,
I've
seen it on menus, but I
remember that.
It.
I actually that happened to me once. So tell me what you experienced.
I was just like, you know what? Like this just sounds like refreshing. It sounds good, like a nice Caesar salad, like what we think of here in America. But like the Caesar salad that you get in Greece, and it's not specific to one region, it's all over. It's like, so they have the lettuce and the Parmesan cheese and that's about it. And then on top of that, it's just like a glob of like yellow stuff. I don't know what it's not. I don't know what to call it. I was just like, and it's not like lightly on there. It is just like Caesar dressing plop. It's so, and it's not
just emulsified and it becomes like this, like.
No, it's just.
I won't do the anchovies, even though I should. Because
I'll take your anchovies.
Yeah, that's the great part of it. I just don't, and you can't avoid it over there, as far as I remember. Like that one time or a couple times that I ordered Caesar salad, you can't avoid it. It's mixed in there.
Ooh.
Yeah. I was like,
into that glob, I think.
In the glob.
On the glob.
Yeah, they're not light on the dressing at all. So that's like one mistake that stood out to me. Another surprise, and I will say a surprise because I just didn't know it. And it was my first road trip up to Thessaloniki, up north. And it was one of those days where it's just like, it's 3:00. Like we haven't eaten since breakfast. Like, let's just like run in and get, and for people that don't know, that's considered fast food. And so my husband runs in, like, don't think anything of it, like everything on it. And he brings that, I take a bite and I'm like, what is this? And like, I look and there's ketchup and mustard on it. And I was like, who did this? Who hurt these people? Why is this like this? And I'm like, I don't like this, but it's normal up there. And I just didn't know it.
I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't know that?
There, you marked my learning today, my learning moment of today. I never even heard of that.
Shut up.
Yeah. But then again, I honestly, aside from like when I was very young, I don't think I've been up to Thessaloniki in 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't put tzatziki on it. They put ketchup.
It's ketchup and mustard mixed together. That's their thing.
Are they trying to be like a hamburger or something?
I don't
know. It's not. And I mean, it's normal up there. And like I said, it is normal. It was just an unexpected surprise to me.
Right. And I didn't know that in Thessaloniki, a bugatsa is not just with cream. There's savory bugatsas, which I had no idea. And one night, I think after the close, we went to this place. I'm like, all right, they have bugatsas. And I bought into the bugatsa, and here I am having bugatsa with cheese and ham and all this crazy stuff that was inside. Like, what's going on here? And it's like
I was here for the sugar rush, and I I got cheese. But on that note, I mean, cheese, you can never go wrong with cheese in Greece. I don't think I have ever been like, damn it, I have got too much cheese.
No.
Oh yeah, I know, right? Overload.
So good. And I mean, like all of the different local cheeses, I mean, like most of them are a soft cheese or like they're so good. They're
Let me
so
ask you
good.
this, guys. As far as like, a culture that enjoys eating their meat well done across the board, for the most part, one thing I have to say about, bad experiences is, do you ever th notice that all the bacon that's served is undercooked?
Mm.
Mm.
Thank you for bringing that up.
I'm like,
Yes.
what?
Gross. I cannot.
I've like many times I've brought it back. I'm like, you forgot to cook the bacon. Like, no, this is how we serve it. Like, then you can
Yeah.
have it.
Or like if you try to order pepperoni pizza, it's like ham on the pizza. Like, let's just get the cheese or like the margarita, that they call it there.
Oh,
So
Yeah,
yeah,
but
there's a
yeah,
learning curve. There's definitely a
undercooked
learning curve with the
bacon, no
bacon.
thanks.
Ugh. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I'm like, and I watch people eat it and enjoy it. I'm like, how is this good? I'm like, this is not right. But yeah,
You spoiled Americans.
It is. And it's just
like I
like,
want to go in the kitchen and like help them cook it.
Do it.
it's just, yeah, the cultural norm. That is so contrasting, like you said, in a culture that loves a well done meat. You know what is surprising? And I'll say this from, Midwest, middle of America, where meat is like our thing, steaks, burgers, whatever. I do love a good burger in Greece. Again, it's seasoned really well, and they have like the lemon on top of there with the oregano. I
Yeah.
love that. I love
Yeah.
it.
Me too.
Oh, and like the local, whatever the local sauce is, or the Lucanica,
Mm.
I will order every local variety that they have that night and like collect them like I'm about to present like a wine tasting with them. And I was like, and this one is like a little hint of a spice and
Hmm.
so good. Love them. We'll order them every time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think, guys, that like to our conversation here, like anywhere you go in Greece, taverna, restaurant, for the most part, the food's pretty good. And obviously the pricing is pretty good too compared to what we're subject to, here. I just think that for those that are listening to this episode who are either planning to go to Greece or have had experiences in Greece, I think it's more about the service than it is the food.
Well, and like you said, Ari, when you were like, I go to Greece to have a different experience than I do in America. And I don't know about where you guys are, but it's like if we even want to go out to like happy hour and it's nice outside, like we're sitting in a freaking parking lot for God's sake, like in a strip mall. And I'm like, this is not the vibe,
Yeah.
you know? And it's
Hmm.
like, and I think that's what people love about traveling to places in Europe in general is that the structures, the architecture, the city layouts, the village layouts, they're not set up for that. Like they are not like driving their cars all over the freaking place. And,
Mhm.
like we don't need a whole parking lot for everybody. Like they can actually live and exist in their communities and
Right.
enjoy it without like being surrounded by cars.
I mean, I don't think we could ever capture anything close to the vibe of Greece. Like it's very unique to places that are like Greece. It has to be like a smaller place with less people with their life is just very different over there. So, we have evolved and adapted here in a certain way, but no matter, it's just not. If you're looking at profits when you run a business, you can't have like a Greek restaurant or taverna with a vibe of Greece because it's almost impossible because you would have to like go so beyond the restaurant to get like the whole atmosphere and vibe going, and it's just not
Mhm.
feasible in most parts. And I mean, I could be wrong. I haven't been everywhere. I haven't seen everything, but I definitely don't
I
think
haven't seen it.
that we could capture that vibe very easily here.
I don't think so.
Literally
And
an
yeah, it's a whole
impossibility.
like general attitude. And I was talking to a friend about this. He lives in Athens and he went up to Finland and he was talking about how efficient the train system was and how this and the people and that. And he's like, Greece will never be that. And I was like, well, no shit. It's not going to be that. It's never going to be that because like one, I mean, there are drastic differences in modern history that have shaped Greece the way it is. But I was like, but everything that you like everything that drives you nuts about Greece, like the slow pace, the inefficiencies, the like, what the fuck is going on here? I'm like, everything that bothers you, those are also the things that you love about it, And I was like, the slow pace, the inefficiency, like that is a way of life. And you like that. It has two sides of the coin, and that's going to be everywhere.
Right. Especially the pedestrians do not have the right of the way.
No.
No.
Do not.
But did you die? You're still with us. We're all still here, aren't we?
I'm well trained now. I know how to like dodge cars.
So many stories about that. Americans really think that they're going to have the right of way, and Greeks are like, no, that's not what's going to happen right now. And if you don't get cursed out by a Greek driver, then you just haven't been to Greece. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, and if your Greek isn't up to par, then it doesn't matter anyways what they're saying, because it's whatever. Same way with like getting yelled at on the ferries, like when you're parking your car, like those guys, they're always yelling about something. So like, I don't understand. Think it's all of us.
It's amazing how these individuals on the ferries know how to pack cars tight.
Oh my God.
So
Gives
tight.
me anxiety. I will say I cannot park my car in Athens. Like I can drive in Athens, but when it comes time to park, I'm just like, somebody take the wheel. It's not me. I was like, I'm not.
Well, you can
like when you're talking about, like having all this space and driving around.
You can just put it right on the sidewalk.
The thing I hate is the thing I love too.
Well, there you go.
But putting it on the sidewalk is like another classic. You haven't driven in Greece until you parked on a sidewalk.
Well, yeah, you're being very thoughtful for the other cars that are trying to drive through this like 6-foot lane in width. Let me put my car on the sidewalk so others can go by.
Oh my God, I love it.
I was thinking about this. I was like, I haven't, currently, knock on wood. I'm like, I haven't been in a car accident for a really long time. And I was like, I wonder if when I move to Athens, like this is my moment. I'm like, I wonder how much shit I'm going to hit when I'm driving around, or like, just like, I was just thinking about future me. And I was like, I should just accept that now. I'm going to hit some shit.
Yeah, man, it's you have a lot of fun times ahead. I can't wait to get on these episodes when you're in Greece.
Yes.
Oh my God. Yeah. If somebody could get all this stuff out of my house, talking about American lifestyle, I think it'll feel good to purge, but anyways, like there, like we'll be in an apartment and, like be able to walk to, the cafes and the restaurants.
That's the first thing you're going to do is eat. That's
know
what you got to do when you get there. And then you start thinking about the move.
Yeah. And, I saw something on Instagram yesterday. It's like this really cute bakery and they have like the specialty chocolate. I was like, oh, I just like want to be like, I just like want to be able to like walk there, get the thing and just be like to have access to that creativity in the city. Like I'm really looking forward to it, just to be able to, pop in and try these foods and try these restaurants and try this. Cause the gastronomy scene in Athens is amazing. And, like that's a conversation for another day. But I think that people are like, oh, I got to try moussaka. And then I was like, I'm like, my mother-in-law who lives in Athens, I was like, moussaka has never passed her table ever. And I was like, why are people so obsessed with that? I'm like, it's gross. First of all, I'm sorry. That's my opinion. Like mushy egg. No.
You don't want like a sloppy piece of like food.
It's gross. It's
like almost like a Greek sloppy Joe in this like form.
Yeah, that they call it a sloppy forty.
Is that before or after I eat it?
Hey, I don't know.
But I don't know.
I think ongoing, whatever the topic of the podcast will be, you should throw in whatever experience you had that day or that week in Greece as far as food goes, because I'm always down to hear that.
Yeah, we could do that. We could totally do that. Yeah, I had a friend reach out yesterday and he's like, can you recommend some good restaurants in Athens? I was like, I'm gonna need some more parameters. Like, what like dinner?
100-mile radius?
Like, where are you going to be? And I was like, there's so many.
It's almost like asking you, Melissa, do you know this guy named Nick? in Greece?
Pretty much, yeah. Do you know a good restaurant? Yeah, yes, I do. And that's like, and I had somebody else ask me like, oh, I have a friend going to Greece for a few days, and they want to know which island to go to, and I was like, you got to give me more, man. Like, I can't answer that. I can't answer that. And same way with food. I'm like, I can barely pick a restaurant like in my own city. Like, you gotta give me more because, like, and that's the thing about these, there's so many guides out there, like food guides and restaurant guides and whatever. And like, they give you this whole, like, just a verbal, like, diarrhea of Google pin dots of like all of these restaurants. And I was like, well, there has to be like some way to whittle them down. Like, you can't just like give people all of this information because they don't know what to do with it. Like, they don't know what's next to them. They don't know, what's the best for this or what's the best for that. It's like, you might as well just like look something up on Google and be like, Athens restaurants, like what's different than that? Like, you need to know like why you would want to go somewhere. Is it the vibe? Is it is it the pastries? Like, what is it?
Right.
Like, we need more details.
Well said. Well said. Well,
I think that we could talk about this, food subject forever. So I think that we should revisit this in another conversation. But I love hearing your guys' stories. And Ari, I'm so proud of you for learning something new again.
Mustard and ketchup in the northern part of Greece. You crazy northern Greeks.
They are crazy.
I'm going to try it though. I'm in.
You're going to try it? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I do want to hear it. I want to hear your...
I'm curious. Have you guys ever heard of anybody doing that here, Thessaloniki style, or do they just stick to the? Because I've never heard of that here, and since I haven't been to Thessaloniki in a long time, obviously I haven't heard of it there. But I feel like somebody from Thessaloniki opens up a shop here would probably try to go for that.
Maybe we could do a little research and announce it on our next episode.
All right.
I know, like, there's some really specific, pita places that offer like various forms of gyro.
I'm gonna film myself going into a gyro place and asking for it and see their reaction. If they're like totally cool with it, then I'll know that they understand. If they're looking at me like I'm crazy, then I'll know they're not authentic.
Off topic subject about Boston Greeks. Is there a specific area that the majority of Boston Greeks come from?
Well, Boston is a city,
because I mean, like,
really large.
Like, Chicago, like, you'll have like more Peloponnese Greeks, or like, like, I just like don't know that many Thessaloniki Greeks.
So we have about 28 church communities in and around the Boston area, and each community has a presence of specific parts of Greece where people come from. So in Rosendale, which is within Boston, there's a huge population of Greeks from Thessaloniki and Katerini.
Okay.
Yeah, or Bonn.
Yeah, I'm really curious. I'm really curious about the demographics of that, because here in Omaha, we have two churches, but everybody's, I mean, the same pretty much. Like, we don't have 20 churches, we don't have 20 communities. Like, everybody's pretty similar.
Are they from specific places? Their roots from specific parts of Greece? In these
more Peloponnese, Athens.
Yeah. Okay.
A handful from up north, handful from Crete.
Cool.
Yeah, mostly. Yeah.
Right.
That was totally off topic. So
yeah, but it's good talking about Greeks and
Boston
Greece.
Greeks.
Is good.
Boston Greeks. We could do a whole conversation about Boston Greeks.
I'm sure we could. I'm sure a couple of guys that can help you out with that.
You guys.
Now I'm really hungry, so I'm gonna go try to find
let's get out of here.
A mustard and ketchup gyro.
Thanks for sharing your food experiences with me, you guys. And yeah, more of that to come. Do you guys have your tickets booked for this summer? My wife and kids do. I don't. Oh, you guys, this is like sad. This is making me sad. Well, I'm the person the family is. I'm not as important, so I have to, I'm last minute in case something changes, And life just life's, you can't go anywhere. But all right, you guys. We'll see you next episode then. Thank you for this wonderful conversation, and we'll talk next time.
Thanks, guys.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.